Intuitive Soul Alignment Coach here, and for today's Fame and Fortune and Impact Leader daily live stream show, I wanted to share with you some important pieces about your manifesting blueprints and what exactly that is. So if you're just jumping on in, please just say hello, just so I know that you're here listening in with me. I will share with you some, benefits of like why would you want to know more about your manifesting blueprints. So let me first just introduce myself. I'm an intuitive soul alignment coach, and I basically help you to align to your soul's divine soul blueprints. And usually I work with very high level entrepreneurs who are just really getting into their own soul alignment, and a lot of the times is we don't really know exactly how to align to our own soul, or specifically what I'm talking about is utilizing the Akashic records to clear any of those invisible blocks that may be restricting you from really tapping into your unique soul's blueprint. So first you want to understand first of what exactly, is your manifesting blueprint. So in this live stream, I would just basically talk to you about why learning from other people's manifesting type of programs can actually get you even more misaligned than what you started with. And then the 3 benefits of aligning to your own manifesting blueprints. So simply, all I have to say is everything out there, honestly, is misaligning you in some way. But you may not know it because you've been so used to being misaligned. So the first thing that you need to know is just become aware of when you're in alignment and when you are not in alignment. So usually that takes a little bit of some effort to see that, but essentially it starts with you really believing in yourself first. And really making sure that you are taking actions that are in alignment to your soul. So when you first learn about your soul's blueprints, so the next level after you know what your soul is about, what your divine gifts is about, the next level is knowing exactly what you desire in your life. Okay, this is the more advanced level version of what I'm talking about right now. But first you need to know what is your divine soul blueprint, so what your soul is meant to be here for, and how exactly it expresses its gifts. Hi, Carolyn. So yeah, if you just jumped on in, please just say hi, just so I know like you're listening in, and you can ask me questions at any time. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know is everything that you learn from other people. My number 1 rule is I always say do not follow anybody else's blueprints or their rules. The reason is because your soul is made so differently from every single person, and everybody has their own unique journey. Everybody has their own unique energetic signature. So as soon as you start to try to align with other people's stuff, it makes you get into misalignment, which makes you not able to live your aligned path. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know. Number 1 is never ever follow anybody else's rules, honestly. And what I'm talking about specifically is never really follow someone else's way that they express their own unique nature, their own unique blueprints. We can learn from each other through the exchange, right? Like the interactions you might get with that person. Everyone has a loving intention at first, but the truth is the only person that really knows exactly how you create and what your divine gifts is about is only you. So if that's very confusing, then you really need to understand what your divine soul blueprints is first. So then you will start to get the feeling of what that feels like in being in soul alignment. Hi, Deborah. Okay, so you see what I'm saying is never ever follow anybody else's rules, because honestly, it doesn't apply to you. It doesn't apply to you because every soul is different. Every soul has their own unique way of expressing itself, and the thing that you want to align most is what you are most abundant in. Not try to fix the old parts of yourself, right? Which is usually what we think we need to do, is we need to work on the areas of our life that we're not good at. But the truth is, actually, you are a master genius in a very specific thing, a very specific divine gift. When you start to take action towards that alignment, you'll find more abundance flows to you. But if you start to align to a different gift that you think that's very important, right? That isn't really your gift, it will feel like you're hustling. It feels like you're trying very, very hard. And most people, honestly, on earth are misaligned in their soul alignment and also their manifesting blueprints. About like 90% of the people are misaligned in their manifesting blueprint. This is how bad it is. And we don't know it until we start to find out that there's chaotic situations that's happening all around us and inside of us. And then we're like, oh my God, I am misaligned, right? And so when you start to understand what your manifesting blueprints are, it will make it so much faster and easier for you to make sense of what actions to take, okay? It's so simple, but this is crucial. This is the number one most important thing, is never ever align to anybody else's gift but your own. So that's actually one of the hardest things to do, because it means you have to trust yourself. You have to really go with that inner gut, and you have to be like, yeah, this is me. This is how I do it. This is what I'm about. You see what I mean? Hi, Alexia. Hi, Tara. So much yes, right, Alexia? This is so true. So the first thing, number one, is that mindset that I'm a creator of my own experience. The first thing you do, when the first time you really realize this and you start to take action towards that, you will see your whole life shift. I'm telling you, this is the number one most important thing. It's so simple, but it's so true. So first off, I need to explain to you what the heck is your manifesting blueprint, okay? I explained to you what your divine soul blueprints is, right? Which is your unique energetic signature of what your soul is all about, right? What you're originally made of from source, that you're most abundant in, that's the thing that you need to line up with first, okay? Then the second step is, once you know what that is, then that's when you need to really experiment with your manifesting blueprints. This is a more advanced version, just so you know. It's not that easy until you finally get in alignment with your soul's gifts first, your divine soul blueprints, and then you start taking action with your manifesting blueprint in mind. I'm telling you, your whole life will become more in flow and less chaos. So let me just explain to you what it is first. There's actually these 7 different comparatives that I look up in your Akashic records. All of the stuff that I'm talking about is I'm looking in your Akashic records to find out exactly what your divine gift is, and then also what your manifesting blueprints are. So everybody has their own personal manifesting blueprint. This is why it doesn't apply to a lot of people when you start to align with somebody else's blueprints, especially specifically their manifesting blueprint. It's not going to work. It's going to backfire at you, and you're going to feel like, oh my God, like, what the heck happened? How did I go from I was misaligned to really, really misaligned? And how you know you're really, really misaligned is chaotic situations starts to happen all around you and inside of you, and it just you feel very, very unstable and ungrounded. So if you're feeling ungrounded right now, that usually means you're not aligned in your manifesting blueprints. So there are actually these comparatives, okay? Just so you know. So meaning like there are like on a spectrum. So on one side, maybe someone, for example, is more outcome oriented, or on the other side, the way you manifest is you're more process oriented. It's 2 different separate things. And some people are like right smack in the middle. So this is why you need to know on which side of that spectrum your soul is more about. So let's say that you had a coach that was very, very outcome oriented and started telling you like very specific things and helping you to do very specific things in your business model that like totally makes sense, right? Yeah, you focus on the number, you focus on exactly like how many clients you want, or you focus on exactly like the date and the time of things, and making sure that you envision the exact thing that you want to create, blah, 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 right? All of this very specific things, like how we use a vision board, right? You ever heard of using those things, right? And you start to try to do those aspects of it. But let's say you're process oriented, which is totally the opposite of that. Someone very process oriented would be like me. I'm very process oriented. I have to go through the process to really understand what the heck is the outcome. And it's very intuitive, it's kind of organic, and you usually don't know exactly what you're doing until you're like, oh my God, that's what I created. In the end, because you see the exact result of that intention that you created. So you see how very opposite on the spectrum a person can be. This is just one type of spectrum I'm talking about. When you are like trying very hard to get into alignment with the other side of your spectrum, everything goes in chaotic mess. But as soon as you go back into, let's say if I go back into my process oriented part, then everything starts to manifest quicker and it feels more at ease. So if you're doing things like, for example, like that, it's going to really feel very hard. And it's going to feel like you're trying so hard to make this one thing manifest, but it's not happening. And the reason is because you're not in alignment with the part of your manifesting blueprint that allows you to bring in all of that level of abundance that Source made you originally of, right? Love, Carolyn. Yes, that's me, Deborah says. Hi, Kavika. How are you? I miss you. Hi, Tara. So you see what I'm saying? It's really like you're either doing it or you're not. And usually most people are not in alignment. They're not doing it because they've been told for so long that you are supposed to do it in a certain way. And like that very specific thing. And this was one of the core reasons why I got into really, really misalignment before I really became successful in my business. Is I had a coach that was very outcome oriented, very, very strong outcome oriented. And she actually sabotaged my entire launch of the beginning of my business. And it was because I didn't understand that I was more process oriented until I started getting into alignment with my process part. And as soon as I got rid of that coach and then I started to get into my process oriented part, that was when I created my first webinar that became like an 80K launch. So I didn't understand that will create me into a full-time business until I allowed myself to be in alignment with it and I experimented with, and that was when I was like, oh wow, like there is a significant difference between if you are in alignment, right, in that one particular spectrum, right? If you're in alignment with each of those, your whole life and business will shift because it's the way you're designed. We are designed in a very specific manner that allows us to communicate our own unique expression. So that is a very good example of what most people are doing is, especially in the manifestation world, we've been told that we have to focus on the outcome. But someone who's super, super not outcome and are process oriented, that will totally get them into chaos. And that's exactly what happened. I was in a very chaotic situation right after that. Timely broadcast, just reading about Abraham Links. Hi, Nikki. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's very important that people don't really actually have an understanding of it because we never really talk about it. We just talk about whatever we feel like, right? And everybody's self-expressing all the time. So this is why it's so important to be really, really in touch with your own soul's divine blueprints, because every time whenever you interact with someone, there's always a misaligning engagement that we may not be aware of until afterwards when you feel the effects. But if you are aware of the way your soul is designed, you will show up very differently. You'll feel very much more like incongruent rather than like I don't understand what happened. What just happened, you know? These kind of chaotic situations happen because it's not in alignment to you, right? Did you get a new coach, or did you figure out that you're process oriented and launch your business in your own? This is what Alexia says. I actually at that time I didn't get another coach. I actually coached myself and I trusted myself more. And then when I really understood my unique nature and then started utilizing my divine soul blueprints from what I read in my Akashic records about myself, then I was able to step out in the world and be like, oh, this person is going to be in alignment or not with me. And especially if the person is very like pushy, like wants me to do a specific thing, I can't work with them. So if you're a kind of person that you really, need to do your own unique way, do not ever have anybody that tells you what to do, because then you're gonna get really misaligned, because you're gonna try to do what they say, and then it's like, oh my God, it's like fighting with a monster inside of you, because you're like, oh, I paid like 10K with this coach, and then like I just have to like let them go. And that's basically what I had to do. Is once I let her go, it was just like money came flowing in. But I didn't know it at the time until I was like, okay, this is what's actually happening. And I specifically figured out which part of my blueprints needed to get in alignment, and I experimented with it, and then that's when more and more abundance came through. So I was just giving you one example of one part of your manifesting blueprint. So the three main benefits of, aligning to your own, why you need to align to your own manifesting blueprints is, number one is you stop guessing. This is huge for a lot of people, is you stop guessing how exactly to manifest and deliberately create under your terms in record time. So it would be a difference between your manifestation, like if you were kind of in alignment, you would manifest like within days instead of like months. Because normally when we are not aware of our trajectory of what our manifesting blueprint is, we end up like taking one step in alignment, and then one step not in alignment, another step not in alignment, and then one step in alignment, another step in alignment, another step misalignment. You see, so it's like a back and forth thing. But if you're really clear about what your manifesting blueprint is, you're going to see, okay, this is misaligned. Don't choose that. Okay, get in alignment to this one because that's the right choice. Okay, now what is the next thing that will get me more in alignment? Okay, let's pick this one. In alignment, in alignment, in alignment. Oh, misaligned. Oh, right, I didn't do that right. Alignment. So it's like the more you understand how your manifesting blueprint works, it will get you faster to where you want to go. Essentially, that's like the core reason why you do things, right? Because you want to get it faster. You want to make that faster. So for my current task, I need to make every step an outcome-oriented thing. Yeah, Carolyn, I think you're outcome-oriented, right? If you are in an outcome-oriented person, you would do the opposite of what I just said. You actually really focus on that specific outcome until that outcome actually is created. Elma says yes. Nikki says stopping the guessing work. Yes. Yeah, you would stop the guessing work. Hi, Vicky. Stick to your blueprint. Yeah. Number one, always stick to your blueprint, right? Number two, the third benefit is you can stop chaos instantly. It's so simple. Every time when you're in misalignment in your manifesting blueprints, it means that you're in chaos. If you're not in chaos, that means you're in alignment. Okay? That's how you know that you're in alignment. It's because the chaotic situations is non-existent. Like, it's not there. If you do end up in a chaotic situation, you'd be like, okay, the reason is because I was misaligned in this part of my manifesting blueprint. Like maybe I was too, like for me, I was too outcome oriented. And I noticed a big difference. Like, for example, when I did one of my webinars, when I was really outcome oriented because I was following one of my other coaches, what she said, That launch totally flopped. I didn't make any sales. I didn't, like, nothing, like a lot of people didn't show up. I had all kind of technical problems, like that never ever happens. So all of those kind of stuff, just because I was being more outcome oriented just a little bit, it was just like I was in this chaotic situation that didn't make any sense. Okay, so that's the second major benefit, is you will be able to be in control and you won't feel in that chaotic situation, right? Then number 3 is you will begin to actually magnetize and almost like quantify more people to you. People, places, things, like automatically with ease. You will find that the more you're in alignment, the more those kind of things happen more often. Or it can be instantaneous. Like, for example, whenever I was thinking of a very specific thing that I wanted to create, and I was looking at parts of my manifesting blueprint where I might be misaligned, where I am in alignment, and as soon as I just took one tiny action towards the one thing I wanted to create, which I call it soul aligned manifestation, it's like bam, that one exact thing that I wanted manifested. So for example, I wanted to manifest a very particular person that I wanted to become my client. And the funny thing was that I was already in alignment, but I just wanted to test it. I just wanted to test to see like what would happen if I did something even more in alignment. So what I did actually, and I did some mindset work about this just to figure out what the heck was the aligned action. And one of the aligned action for me was to not necessarily to reach out to that specific person, but just to reach out to that kind of person that was like her. So that's what I did. I actually focused on one aligned action, which was to talk to a person that was just like her. And as soon as I did that, and of course, I put the intention that I would meet her the next day, then that's what happened the next day. I met her in person, and she later on became my client because she was feeling into what I wanted to manifest, number 1, of course. And once I believe it's done, and it means that it's done. But because I took such an aligned action that was going towards what I wanted, it seemed like kind of counterintuitive, like to think like, why don't I just reach out to her, right, and just like make a relationship? But it was really, for me, the opposite. Was I needed to enjoy the process of making her become my client, right? Instead of me going to the outcome, which is I wanted her to become my client. You see what I'm saying? So it's so interesting because I was just testing that one thing, which is like, well, how do I get in my process more? How do I make her feel more attracted to me without me actually trying to do that very specific outcome? I was specifically trying to attract that kind of person, but it was about me reaching out to someone that's similar, because that's also part of my blueprint, was similarity. You see what I'm saying? So Ila says, you're right, I was misaligned because of listening to too many people. Yes, stick to our own blueprint, Vicky says. Yes, Ila, so many voices out there. Deborah says, I need work out my blueprint for sure. Yeah, you need to know your blueprints for sure. Vicky says, align with someone who radiates the energy you seek. That was because it had to do with my similarity part of my blueprint. Some people are similarity, or the opposite of that would be contrast. So if you're a contrast, you actually don't want to be around similar people. If you're similar, you want to be around people who are similar to you. Like, that is like another part of the blueprint. So, but you have to be very precise and sure that this is alignment for you, like what exactly that looks like for you. Okay, did it enlighten you guys? It's so important that you just really be aware. number one, especially about your manifesting blueprint, that you're not following anybody else's manifesting blueprint, because it doesn't make sense to your soul, because your soul is made in a very specific way, and we're each supposed to express that part of that spectrum, you can say, right? Like process oriented people also need outcome oriented people, right? Because usually process oriented people don't really know exactly what they want or what their intention is, right? And then outcome oriented people need to like let go of the idea of what the heck the outcome is, but they also have to be very specific and very strong in what they actually want, right? So you see, like, we're all helping each other on both of the scales, but without knowing your unique way you're doing it, you can start to sabotage your manifestation. Viewers, tap the hearts and likes to show some love to Leimomi. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can actually, it's just like Periscope. If you've never really gone on the live stream, it's just you want to tap at the bottom, the likes and the hearts. Whenever you feel like something is inspiring, totally, please do that. Okay, so anybody have any questions about that? What do you think then is your next step? Right? Like, how would you understand your blueprints in a broader sense? And this is why I'm creating a new program called Soul Aligned Manifestation, is because all my clients that they learned from me, and I looked into their Akashic records and I gave them their blueprints, which usually takes me about 7 hours to do, because it's 3 hours to look through all your blueprints, including your manifesting blueprint, and then 3 hours for me to record it for you, very specifically what your blueprints is about. So then you can start to get into soul alignment and business alignment. Then the next higher version of that is understanding how to utilize that specific thing, which is soul aligned manifestation. It's something that I came up with because I saw a trend when you are in soul alignment. The next stage is actually creating your dream life. And creating your dream life means you need to get in alignment with all of your 10 life areas, right? You need to take actions in those specific life areas that you want to create, but it has to really, really be in soul alignment. So yeah, this is why I'm gonna share with this in my next webinar. I feel like it's the opposite of what you see out there, okay? Just so you know. Everything out there is all teaching you, and it's cool because I see people manifesting, which is awesome. But if you look at the actual numbers of who really creates what they want in their life and actually understands it, like what they're doing, most people don't know, because they're just kind of guessing, and then they're just taking the actions, whatever, you know, the group or leader is telling you to do. But I can tell you it's a very temporary. But when you understand your alignment piece, what's your manifesting blueprints, what are your divine gifts, what are your soul specializations, you know, what is the unique way that you organize and express yourself, it's going to be so much faster. But even though it's like stuff you kind of already know in your mind, which everything that I share with my clients and my audience, it's all stuff you already know. Like, it's not like rocket science. The stuff that I'm sharing about is very, very simple. It's mindset work, it's success mindset, but it's about actually belief in yourself and aligning to the way your soul is made of. The more you do that, the more you feel that it's like it's being created, but with intention. And I think that's what's happening in the online world and online space, right? This is why nobody, like, there's so much information out there, right? But they don't apply all to us. And every time when we take another course and see another coach or do another group program or whatever, you know, you're doing right now, if you don't understand your soul alignment piece, you're going to get aligned and then misaligned. Aligned and misaligned. And you're going to feel like, again, you're guessing. Feeling so soul aligned right now, always a growth process, but it helps to have someone who understands soul specialization. Awesome. I hope I say your name right. Levante. I'm terrible with people's people's names, so I'm sorry if I butcher your guys' names. Yeah, so when you really see, so this is why I work with people who actually are pretty much in alignment, and probably who are already intuitives and are psychics or healers or already amazing successful entrepreneurs out there. It's because I realized that those kind of people, they just need to know those missing pieces and understand that one important part of the way their soul is designed. And as soon as they do that, they're doing it with creation, like they're being a creator of their own experience rather than like you're not, it's like you're not going to have to guess anymore. You're going to be like, this is who I am, this is exactly how I create. And then clearing those invisible blocks, actually your soul level blocks, really does help for sure. So I hope that enlightened you guys. Do you guys have any other questions about soul alignment or about these pieces that I'm talking about? It's so key for number one, that you know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, at least know what your soul is. Okay? Because that's going to take a lot of the guessing work out of the way. So one last time, right? The 3 benefits of, why aligning to your own manifesting blueprint is so key right now. Number 1 is you'll stop guessing. And you will just know how to manifest deliberately and create what you want in record time, right? You're not going to get like back and forth type of action or a temporary manifestation. You'll be constantly creating and manifesting, like instantly, right? Number 2 is you can literally stop your chaotic situations that's happening to you instantly, because you won't be guessing any longer. You'll be like, okay, I know that this part of my blueprint I'm misaligned, so what action do I need to take that's going to get me back into alignment? And as soon as you do that, the chaotic mess in your relationships and within yourself or whatever it is will just stop. You'll feel instantaneously peaceful, and the circumstances around you become very, very quiet. This is how I know I'm in alignment. Is there's blue skies. It went from like crazy bad weather, windy, it's raining cats and dogs, my husband's mad at me, my son is screaming his lungs off, right? To finally I get in alignment, and then it's like blue skies, it's sunny, everybody's all happy. It's like there's peace inside of my mind. Everything feels really, really peaceful inside and out. That's how I know that I'm in alignment, right? And then number 3 is, you will begin to magnetize like people, places, and things, whatever you want with ease. And how you know you are not in that manifesting blueprint alignment is, again, not only the chaos happens, but you will notice that what you're trying to hustle towards, like the things that you're trying to create, feels hard. Feels like, why the heck I can't create that? It just doesn't make sense. You can be like procrastinating and feel tired and like unsure, being wishy-washy about what you want and all of this stuff. That means that you're in your ego part and you're not really aligning to what your soul really truly wants, and you're not listening to what's the next alignment for you, right? So that's how you know, is it will feel easy, it will feel in flow. And most people, they cannot fathom that it's possible to have a life that feels easy and in flow. And I'm a very good example of that, because as soon as I know that I'm misaligned, I go from mess to ease and flow. So this is what I want people to experience. And the only way you can experience it is if you actually do soul alignment. You actually get into your own unique blueprints of how exactly you create, and what is your aligned way of doing it. All right. Do you guys have any last questions? Hi, Carolyn. But if you don't, then I will jump on off. And I will talk to you guys again probably tomorrow. I love talking about these kind of subjects. Specifically, this one is one big it's an advanced level, but this is actually really good for those people who are already in alignment. They've got their blueprints, they have a better understanding of what their soul is, but they just don't understand how to apply in their own unique life areas. And this is the part where you need to make your life experience look like your purpose, right? As soon as you make the rest of your life experience look like what you're doing, your purposeful work, you'll find everything flows and is at ease for you. All right. So yeah, my next webinar, I think I'm going to do it on September 15th. So I'm setting all of that up. So just so you know, like, have a look out for that, because I'm going to give a full-on lecture about this kind of stuff. Specifically, soul-aligned manifestation is what the webinar is about. And I'm going to explain to you more detail about how this all works and why you actually need to know this, because it's really a great deal when you hear this over and over again at a different level, when you actually know what your blueprints is. Just like Carolyn, right? Carolyn, she says, would love to hear about how to deal with other conundrums, like similar or different. Are you saying continuums? I don't know if that's a typo. So you mean like things that are not similar, or like things are just showing up? Is that what you're asking, Carolyn? Other continuums. Oops. So if you really feel like maybe it's not making sense, that's like, then that means that you're not in alignment. So, like, I am similar, not different. Oh, you mean your similarity? Okay. So for your similarity part of your blueprint, you definitely want to be around people who are similar to you, who actually helps you to understand yourself much more deeper. So for contrasting people, they would do the opposite. They have to be around people who contrast them, so then they can see through that contrast who they are at soul level. But because you are similar, you actually almost like need to mimic role models or people who are very similar to you in order for you to know who you are at soul level. So when you're around people who contrast you, it doesn't make any sense to you because it doesn't apply to you. But when you are around people who are similar to you, you feel much more in alignment and you feel like you understand yourself more. So that's basically the difference. Is if you are in that spectrum, you are, whether it's the similar or the contrast, right? The more you're in contrast, the more you go around people who are very much contrasting you, it really makes you not understand yourself at all. It makes you get into more chaos, is basically what happens. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have an amazing day. I'm ending my day. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to jump into my Facebook group, my Fame and Fortune Soul Alignment Leader Entrepreneurs. You can look it up, or you can see it on my pin post on my business page. Join my group, and so you can be around other similar entrepreneurs. And also, if you really want to know what your divine gifts is, you can take my Divine Business Gifts quiz, which will give you a very keen understanding of what your divine gifts might be, just by answering some of the questions of my quiz. And it's right on my website on beingalohi.com, and it's right on the first opt-in part of the landing page. And once you put in your email, you'll get the quiz emailed to you. And so again, it's Being Alohi, BEING, and ALOHI.com. That's Being Alohi. And then if you really want to know more about your blueprints, totally, PM message me, or look at my website and see what kind of things that I can help you with. All right, well, you guys have an amazing day. Aloha.